And it's not even the issue, like, you could keep them warm, but they're not going to stay crispy. They're going to get so soggy.
I hope no one else is doing a bit, but I'm doing a bit.
Daddy's got a pod.
I'm Casey Kasem, and this one's for the perverts.
Join us in our strange ritual.
That is time-traveling love smut.
I can only say horny in one season opener.
A medium amount of fun and an extra large amount of sweaty.
From the minds that brought you Giraffe and Amerisaur.
No regrets, no masters.
I got dick jokes to make, man. Leave me alone.
This is good. This is good for anyone.
This one's gonna be weird. I'm very interested to see where this goes.
Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how finding out that a local game store near me does Commander Nights for Magic the Gathering each week has just suddenly upset my financial well-being. I am in danger. I am in peril.
Thrown your bank account into oblivion.
Okay,
My God.
I do. This is one of those moments. There are a few major milestones in every Magic the Gathering fan's life, and this is one of them. The first one is your first taste. The second one is where the game starts to really click. You start to win a couple, and this is number 3. You have now crossed the milestone that I know I have crossed, and I'm sure Kyle has crossed. Maybe Matt has even crossed, where you say, I'm pretty good at Magic. I could go play Magic at a game store. Now, Todd, hold on.
Will they also be giving me a slice of humble pie with my commander deck?
Because I, too, had a similar experience this past weekend. As of the recording was Origins Game Fair here in Columbus.
Andrew.
There's a big board game con a la Gen Con and so on and so forth. And I, in infinite hubris, said, I'm going to go do a draft. Now, Todd, Matt, Kyle, I did 2 games. Do you want to guess how many minutes I was enrolled in this Magic the Gathering tournament? It was less than 10. It was less than 10 minutes in between starting tournament and losing twice.
What set did you draft, if I might?
Modern Horizons 3.
Oh.
Which had been out for, what, 3 days?
Sure.
5 days, maybe, as on Saturday?
Spoiled for 2 weeks, but yeah.
Sure. Everybody there knew every card and was like, I can't wait to pull blankety blankety blank. And I was like, I'm just a boy. I'm just a little boy who's in over his little head.
The Modern Horizons supplemental drafts are rough. Like they're highly skill heavy.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, not to dissuade you, because like if you're gonna go, I'm definitely gonna drive up and go.
Sure,
but
right.
like just be ready for when you see all of those people sit down and they roll out their little magic mat like they're a fucking sushi chef, and they put all their mise en place on there, and you're like, I don't even know what that thing does. Just be ready.
You know, the sub level of the level you just spelled out is when that happens to you, and it's a like 14-year-old that spanks your ass red at the game shop.
Yes.
Going with a friend is good. Go with a friend.
Yeah.
Well, so what's funny is that you referenced step 2 in this journey of like seeing the source code. And this all goes without saying. The other 2 of you don't know that Kyle and I texted for like 30 or 40 minutes today, just about specifically seeing the source code in a commander deck and finding the balance between making it good and spending so much money that you've made a stupid thing that no one's going to want to play with you.
Yeah.
Todd's he can read the lines and see the woman in the red dress now.
Todd unraveled my Unga Bunga zombie deck yesterday. I'm still very upset about it.
Hey, okay, we can't talk about Magic anymore. That's for tomorrow, Commander Night.
That's for tomorrow.
So, as of recording this, parts of our nation are just facing some record high summer temperatures, including the unestablished, ambiguous location of DT! HQ, which we all canonically live within driving distance of due to the return to office policy. So we are all experiencing this harsh summer wave, which out of the bit, some of us are experiencing it worse than others because Kyle went through moving today, which is maybe the worst thing you could add. All weekend, yeah. Make heat worse, move
He
box.
just looks hot. Like on this video call, like Kyle just looks like he's been hot for a long time. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
But we're not here to talk about bummery things. We're here to talk about summery things. And what's more summery than the biennial Todd's Family's 4th of July cookout?
That's pretty good. I like that.
I like that. That's good.
Does this also serve as the Shut Up Todd Pet Store employee picnic?
It's the company
it's
picnic.
it's biennial. So the year that we're not doing the family 4th of July is the year that we're doing the Shut Up Todd's Pet Store.
Matt, Shut Up Todd Pet Store is a subsidiary of DT exclamation point. They're invited to the cookout.
And I'm not
we're a
convinced
family
Todd's
there.
family isn't a subsidiary of DT exclamation point HQ.
You don't know what you agreed to when you signed up for the Kirby-related health benefits that we talked about. So my family is gearing up for their mandatory summer barbecue, and hey, you're all invited because like you guys are like family, but not just that, you are each allowed a +1 for the event. Now, us four, we are just all too familiar with bringing standout guests to barbecues, as established in episode 97, What Dat Dogman Do, featuring Giovanni Colantonio of Left Trigger, Right Trigger. And listen, when it comes to bringing your special guest, today is no exception, because I want to make sure that the 2024 barbecue just hits different. So I'm expecting you three to just bring some super impressive guests, pun intended. That's why I'm counting on you guys to show up to my family's barbecue and bring a superhero or supervillain as your guest. Am I seeing that you all brought villains? Is that what I'm seeing?
We did all bring villains.
Never mind. It's just supervillains. We're changing the bit live here. Fix that in editing, Matt. Thank you. This super barbecue can't be complete without that super lineup. So, joining me today in the open space behind my house that offers zero shade whatsoever is Andrew Meat Church Holy Gospel Henderson, Kyle Sasquatch Barbecue Dirt Harper, and Matt Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue Moolah Cole.
I love that Andrew gets like a colon after a colon kind of situation.
Yeah.
Meat Church Holy Gospel feels like a song, and Holy Gospel needs parentheses inside of it.
Meat Church's
Yeah,
Holy
you are
Gospel.
missing a
Meat
parentheses
Church in
there. Let me add
parens
that for
Holy
you.
Gospel.
Meat Church Holy Gospel is like a hick hop country rap song of some kind.
Take meat to church.
Take meat to church. Well, we got the episode title in the first 5 minutes, which is pretty cool. These are all some of the top-rated flavors of like barbecue rubs.
Top rated by who? Cite your source.
Yeah.
the internet,
Okay.
internet.com. I asked Jeeves, Matt. I don't
By
know.
the users of Reddit, Matt.
By whatever AI article wrote 10 barbecue names you won't believe.
No. It's a combination of what Kyle and Andrew said.
Okay.
Reddit came up with it, and the AI article just gleaned it and then
Yeah.
put a small footnote at the bottom. So, guys, that's what we're doing. So we're just going to jump right into it. What supervillain are you bringing? Where should we know them from? And, you know, what vibes are they bringing to my family cookout? Let's go ahead. Andrew, I see you coming through the gate. Let's see who you've got with you.
Oh, wait. Sorry, what's that? If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain. Yeah, that's right, guys. It's summer. And what better way to bring out those summer vibes than the beach, right?
Is that a song you think of like as your summer song?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a beachy song.
Cheeseburger in Paradise, like Margaritaville, like
I thought Margaritaville was too on the nose here. I think if you like pina colada, I know that the words don't exactly line up to it, but like, come on.
I'll give it to you for vibes,
You're sitting
but-
at a beach bar. You're gonna hear the pina colada song. Who cares about the lyrics? Nobody cares about the lyrics of the pina
I
colada
didn't
song.
have a Hawaiian shirt on when Andrew started talking, but since
Now
he
you
started
do.
singing, I suddenly have one, and two of the
Exactly.
top buttons are unbuttoned.
Now you guys might be sitting here thinking, but Andrew, we aren't talking about the beach. We're talking about a backyard barbecue. Shut up! I'm getting to the point. Let me finish. Now, when you guys think of the beach, what do you think of?
Pina coladas.
Pina coladas.
the ocean.
Getting caught in
The
the rain.
ocean was going to be what I
A
said.
yeah, right, exactly. Tropical breeze, the light scent of salty seawater, sound of waves crashing in the shoreline. Of course not. You think of sand.
That is one.
Everyone's
that is
favorite
one
part of
thing.
the beach.
Yeah.
The best part of beach is the sand.
The best part of beach.
The best part of beach is sand. Let me introduce you to my date. William
+1.
Baker, my +1.
it can be his
My
date.
date, William Baker, aka Flint Marko, aka the Sandman. The Sandman is one of Spider-Man's oldest villains, first appearing in the silly 60s, along the lights of Hydro Man, Blast Star, and Paste Pot Pete. Debate this favorite Paste Pot Pete.
Why does he have two alter ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
William
question,
Baker
Kyle.
and Flint Marko.
William Baker is apparently his real name. Flint Marko is his first alias, which was later retconned, which we will get to in just a bit. So this is canon for the character. Following an unfortunate string of events in his teens leading to expulsion from high school, William Baker fell into a life of crime, began calling himself Flint Marko, and eventually found himself fleeing from police and wound up on a nuclear testing site on a beach near Savannah, Georgia. There he came into contact with radioactive sand. Something transformed his body into a living, breathing mound of endlessly pliable sand.
What beach in Savannah, Georgia is not a tourist destination, is not so expensive that the government can test nuclear...
Yeah, well, this was in the 60s, Kyle. Savannah wasn't up and coming yet.
I was gonna go the other way. What beach off the coast of Georgia isn't irradiated with waste?
That's a better question, Todd. So theoretically, we should have hundreds, if not thousands, of Sandmen out there. But yeah, so the Sandman was a relatively benign Spider-Man villain who appeared, whenever Spider-Man needed a kind of a low risk, low rent bad guy, or maybe Spider-Man something else. Peter Parker had something else going on, and was like, I can't juggle all of these things. Or, maybe there was an opening on whatever Sinister Six team up was happening that particular week, because the Sinister Six is kind of more like a drop in, drop out kind of like jam band rather than like a defined team.
The Sinister Six is like fish. Just
it's kind of like fish.
Members rotate in and out as they're
I would say it's more like the Dave Matthews Band, where like they might go on tour for like 6 months, but there are 37 of them. And they're all kind of interchangeable.
The Sinister Six is just Bang Camaro, just a bunch of people around yelling.
Oh, that's good. Didn't think I'd hear a Bang Camaro joke today. So
No, you didn't.
That is the history of the Sandman until Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, when Flint Marko, which we all remember and likely learned about Flint Marko there. Flint Marko, as we all remember, was pulled in as the secondary villain to everyone's favorite iteration of Venom. As the
Topher Grace,
Topher
Grace's Venom.
Topher
Grace's Venom.
After Topher Grace prayed for God to kill Spider-Man, Venom arrived.
That's right,
Yeah.
he sure did.
Tophenom? Tophenom or Topher Grenum?
Ooh.
Okay, let's come back to it. So anyone who
hasn't
anyone who doesn't remember hasn't seen Spider-Man 3, the whole kind of like 30 seconds there was Flint Marko, played by Thomas Hayden Church, was this kind of like downtrodden ex-con who was just trying to make ends meet so that he could support his estranged daughter. So he was like divorced dad.
He was a Jean Valjean character.
Yes, a Jean Valjean, still a villain, but this was Marvel's foray into like, I understand where this villain is coming from. Thomas Hayden Church's Sandman walked so that
Killmonger.
I was gonna say
Thomas Hayden Church's
Michael
Sandman
Keaton's.
in the
I was gonna
next
say
time
Michael.
he came out.
So good.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton's Vulture could run. I think
There
those are very similar builds.
Michael Keaton's Vulture from the Morbius movie.
From the Morbius movie, that's correct. So interestingly enough, I don't know if you guys do this. I didn't know this until today, that after Spider-Man 3, Marvel Prime, like Earth 616, actually retconned the entire like Sandman arc and went back and there was, and I forget the exact arc, but by 2010 had rewritten Flint Marko to have a daughter now, because they basically just like, they were like, hey, we like the THC line. Let's just like lean far into that. And there's a whole storyline where like his daughter, something, he has a daughter with this woman who gets put in jail by Spider-Man. And then this daughter is just kind of like free floating in the foster system, excuse me. Fuck. And Sandman will appear from time to time and like whisk her away to an island and like let her be a princess on a deserted island. It's very weird.
Oh,
comics. Anyway,
it's similar to the same way that after Samuel L. Jackson got cast as Nick Fury, suddenly the Ultimate Universe's Nick Fury was
it's exactly
Samuel L.
that.
Jackson.
So you guys are still hearing, pretend that Pina Colada song is still playing in the back of the head.
It started over.
Yeah.
It's the only song on the
But
playlist.
just the intro verse.
Yeah. Because I don't know the rest of the words. That brings us back to the cookout. I ask you all, who loves cookouts more than dads? No one. That's who.
Impossible. You
You guys want someone who's going to bring those beachy summer vibes? It's Sandman. But you want someone who's going to excitedly remark about the grill marks on those burgers while handing you another domestic beer? That's Sandman, baby. Sandman.
I just wanted to linger on the phrase "that's Sandman, baby."
That's Sandman, baby.
That feels like that came out of a '60s comic book, like
Yeah.
line. Like he
It's
punched
probably
with a big sand fist, punched someone, and he pulled back out
That's
a comical
Sandman,
side.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled back out comical bags of money. He goes, "That's Sandman, baby."
He tipped his sandy fedora and said, "That's Sandman, baby." Yeah.
All right, so did not expect to see Thomas Hayden Church passing out cold ones in my backyard today, but here he is.
I mean, if he wasn't so problematic, maybe we could. Maybe he would.
Can't be surprised. We'll move on
Yeah.
from that.
Yep.
Kyle, the gate's unlocked if you just want to come on through.
Yeah, Todd. So do you know who is really great to bring around to family barbecue is your rich friend.
What a taste.
There's just something about having someone who can throw a little money around at whatever the cookout is missing, whether it's sending their driver to cover the shortage of drinks and like go on a beer run, tossing out what is effectively pocket change so the hosts can replace that roof they've been complaining about all afternoon. It's just good to have a rich friend, you know, like it's good to bring them around. That's why I'm bringing my buddy Lex to the barbecue.
Ooh.
You might have heard of him. He runs
Lex, last name omitted.
He runs a big company, LexCorp. Used to be president. Yeah, Lex Luthor. Yeah, you guys. So you have heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mostly because of the crimes.
Yeah, it's the crimes.
LexCorp's the one where they make their logo rainbow in June, right? That's
Yeah.
that one.
They
LexCorp.
100% do.
LexCorp loves celebrating Pride Month every June.
Oh, man.
Absolutely. Anyway, my buddy Lex always brings the chill rich guy vibes to the party.
The chill rich guy
The
vibe.
chill rich guy
What?
vibes.
Please say more words. What does that mean, Kyle?
Well, you know, the chill rich guy. I don't know how to explain it. He's got no worries because he has all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But Lex is thinking about running for office again, so he wanted to do a little handshaking and hear what the salt of the earth, backbone of society has to think about the state of things. And Todd, I know that side of your family is going to just love to meet the former president and hear what he has to say about aliens in our country. So I think he's just going to be a big hit at the party.
There are layers to that, Kyle. The aliens being Superman, to be clear.
Yes.
We're making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I stacked those layers myself, Todd. I know,
Yeah.
I know the
Brought
layers.
them from home. I was gonna make a joke about which actor. I'm just gonna go with Jesse Eisenberg. You brought Jesse Eisenberg, I think.
It's always the animated Lex Luthor in my head, to me.
Rainn Wilson voiced a version of an animated Lex Luthor. So
Oh,
Has anyone considered Michael Rosenbaum? I feel like
Michael Rosenbaum is a good
He'd
one.
be a chill. He'd be a chill Lex Luthor.
I think we're all looking at the same screen, and as long as we don't say one of these 12, I think we're good.
I'm not looking at that. Oh, okay.
If you just Google Lex Luthor actor,
Yep.
It's the one that we don't talk about.
I gotta find the actor's name. It's the one guy,
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. Thank you, Todd.
That's it.
Hell yeah.
Because
Yeah,
he's
it's
also
Clancy Brown.
Because he's also Mr. Krabs.
Yep, that's obvious.
So yeah, me and my buddy Lex Luthor are here at your barbecue now, Todd. And he's already a hit with some of your family. I can tell.
That's a given. I can't get over the LexCorp paints everything in rainbows through June because, like, holy shit, what an evil corporation thing to do. I see Matt's coming through. Hey Matt, when you and your friend get through, can you just shut the gate behind you?
Yeah, happy to. Glad to shut the gate. We'll make sure we pull it the whole way closed.
Hey, thanks.
Hey, Todd, thanks for inviting us to the barbecue. Really happy to be here. Now, you and I, we're from similar parts of the earth where people grow up in families that aren't all interested in the same thing. And, you know, you have these big summer cookouts, and it's like everybody shows up. That's the best part about the 4th of July. When you have a 4th of July cookouts, everyone can come together. There's no one out there who will turn down a glizzy and a gulp on a hot summer day, especially if there's loud music and fireworks to look forward to. And when everyone comes together, you're guaranteed to have some folks who don't know each other, don't know everybody's backstory, and you have those awkward downtimes in conversation where folks are sitting around a table, standing near the grill, idling by the beer tent, saying, "So, what do you do? What do you do?" And you need somebody who can lighten up that vibe, who can make sure they are always willing to talk about something, even if that something is themselves. And I tell you what, Todd, there's one archetype of barbecue goer that is always willing to talk about themselves and their hobby, and that's hunters, which is why I've brought Craven the Hunter and his phone full of pictures of animals that he has killed, that he is excited to show to your cousins who are too young to see them. My friend, Craven the Hunter, first from Spider-Man, also in the silly 60s. First appearance was 1964. What's Craven's superpower, you ask? The power of hunter. That's pretty much what it comes down to, and whatever that needs to mean, it is. So Craven the Hunter is here, and we are going to vibe out at the barbecue as he talks to everybody you've ever met about the deer he shot this weekend.
I was going to ask Matt follow-up question. Does Craven own anything that isn't camo and or from Cabela's?
Looking at him over in the beer tent, Andrew, it actually looks like he is decked head to toe in leather. Exclusively leather.
Okay.
Well, it is leather from Cabela's, you know, so
yeah.
And
that's hot. This is gotta be warm.
Have some like mossy oak and real tree that aren't camo prints. They're just like branded gear.
Okay.
He wears those a lot. That's the church going shirt.
Yeah, that's when you're going out to eat.
Craven seems like a guy who wears Oakleys backwards on the back of his head. Does he wear Oakleys?
Yeah,
his Facebook picture is definitely him in his truck with sunglasses on.
Specifically Oakley gas cans. He ordered 6 pairs of them in 2009, and he keeps them in the back.
What I appreciate most about Craven is that the thing he does for a living and his last name are the same thing. And that's going to be really easy to remember as we do this kind of meet and greet here of new people in the backyard.
Well, actually, Todd, just to be clear, his last name is not the Hunter. That's just occupation. Craven's last name is Cravenoff.
You know what? Fuck, I knew that.
Craven,
I thought it was
Cravenoff
stupid.
is... Nope.
Craven's not his first name either. It's Sergey, but everybody calls him Craven.
Yeah.
Oh, that's... I knew that. Now I'm wrong. Okay.
Well, this is quite the little gathering we have here in this fully exposed, unshaded backyard of mine. Hey, speaking about unshaded, I do have the table over there with all the food, the mac and cheese, the macaroni salad just baking in the sun. So just real quick, you know, you guys knew you're supposed to bring side dishes or beverage or something to share. What did your guests bring to share with my family? Because, like, you got to put on a good show.
Well, Todd, we have to understand, Sandman is a single dad with partial custody of a young daughter. So, as you can imagine, cooking healthy gourmet cuisine, not exactly at the top of his priorities. Dude knows 2 things and he knows them well. Dino nuggies and the perfect grilled cheese sandwich. Because when you're looking after a 5-year-old every other Wednesday and on Saturday evenings, it's grilled cheese. Now, here's the thing. Who's going for the salads at a cookout, right? Like, you want that good old greasy comfort food. Now, what I will say is, what Sandman lacks in cooking prowess, he more than makes up for in the drinks department. Because Flint Marco, famously, hasn't held down a job for more than, 6 months to a year. And among the many odd jobs he worked in his 20s, I would say half a dozen of them were bartender at Seedy Dive Bar, insert Seedy Dive Bar here, right? So Flint Marco knows his way around cheap booze. Dude can make a Long Island iced tea that can melt the rust off a barn door and only cost you $4.95. And that, my friend, is the kind of party Sandman is bringing.
Imagine the psychopath that comes to a cookout with a plate of grilled cheeses they made
right
hours ago.
Yeah.
And it's not even the issue. Like, you could keep them warm, but they're not going to stay crispy. They're
absolutely
gonna get so
wet.
soggy.
Yeah,
they're
soft.
so wet.
Grilled
They're
cheese
real
has
soft.
a shelf life of about 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes to get that grilled cheese in your mouth after it comes out of a pan.
If the food that you are serving you would never get via DoorDash, you should not be taking it anywhere. You are to eat that on premises.
As a former food delivery driver, you cannot base laurels on what people will order for delivery.
Yeah. I can't imagine just the sweaty, wet messes of grilled cheese that I know people were getting like Melt and stuff, which is a grilled cheese chain here in Ohio. And I can imagine just the like disgusting soupy mess of a DoorDashed 45-minute-old Melt sandwich.
See, I think a grilled cheese goes the other way as it ages. It doesn't turn soupy. It turns into a brick of cheese. You get a block of cheese glued to 2 pieces of bread when it arrives.
I think it's I'm going to cheat and I'm going to say both because I think that cheese in the middle is going to solidify into something
it
terrible.
coagulates.
But like the crispy like buttery toast will get soggy.
That's what I'm going for, and I think Todd is right.
It's like a reverse Oreo.
In a sense.
Well, I'm glad that's
anyway,
settled.
Kyle,
I mean, he's not wrong.
Kyle, what did your buddy Lex bring over here?
Todd, when no one was looking, Lex Luthor brought 40 cakes to your party. He brought 40 cakes. That's as many as 4 tens. And that's wonderful.
For the listeners at home, if you subscribe to our Patreon at the $10 tier, you get access to our notes doc, and Kyle has put in a comic book panel, no context, but it is Lex Luthor pulling a cart with 40 cakes, and it says, when no one was looking, Lex Luthor took 40 cakes. He took 40 cakes. That's as many as 4 tens, and that's terrible.
That's terrible.
This is from a series of books that were like kids' educational books.
I was gonna say this definitely sounds like this was like from a kid's book to pretend to like practice reading.
Do you guys not know this? This was like an early-ish meme. I feel.
Kyle, none of us are as online as you are. You know this.
Fair.
I have heard that's as many as 4 tens.
Yeah.
But I did not know that was Lex Luthor related.
Yeah.
That's as many as 4 tens was the one that went around, and I thought this was more known than it was. But
it's very funny. Also, what he's wearing is like very Dick Dastardly. He's got like a
it is
thin
very
mustache.
Dick Dastardly.
And he's also the strongest man on earth.
Yeah,
his muscles are angular.
Yeah,
that's semi-canon. Like he, after he ran into Superman the first time, he was like,
shit, I gotta do push-ups.
He started crunching. I do like, I prefer the Lex Luthor that's built like a brick shit house.
Yeah.
Like a kingpin build.
Yeah, like a kingpin build, yeah.
That's 40 cakes is a lot of cakes.
It's a lot of cakes. It's as many as 4 tens, Todd.
It's as many as 4 tens. Question real quick. Are these 40 the same cakes? Are these 10 different cakes 4 times? Did we get like a picking here?
I like to think it's a Grinch Stole Christmas situation where he's like sneaking from house to house and stealing individual cakes.
I knew this question was going to come up.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 flavors, 4 cakes each.
Okay, that feels right.
Oh, there's a variety.
It's already on like a wheeled thing, so imply that he stole it from a caterer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask you to name the 10 cake flavors, Kyle. I'm tempted to, but I won't.
No one wants that.
No. We're going to get, at some point, there's 4 German chocolate ones, which is fine, but too many German chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay, you can just slide that whole table next to the other whole table of food, if you would there. Lex, Matt, what did Craven bring? Is it 40 meats? Is that as many as 4 tens of meats?
That is as many as 4 tens of meats, but he did not bring 40 meats. He did just bring kind of an assortment of meats. And here's the thing, right, is that there's a cooler in the back of our pickup truck that we're going to go grab. And all of that meat is in that cooler. No cooling devices, but just gallon baggies of meat. So let's go grab that. And it's jerky of every animal you could ever think of. But like, there's like a Cajun deer jerky, and then there's a black pepper deer jerky, and then there's venison jerky and black pepper venison jerky and Cajun jerky. But then, there's also like
the flavors.
Beef hot sticks and deer hot sticks and all the flavors of deer. So it's a lot of meat. And I know that you are grilling meat, but these meats are great because we can actually just give you a gallon baggie of meats, and now you have them. And they're just yours now.
Oh, thank you for this gallon baggie of warm meats.
Yeah, that's a 1/4 pound of hot sticks. You're welcome.
That's a lot of on sticks.
Matt has already, but is like now 300% in like your friend's dad, who their entire personality was hunting, and they always at one point had the complete makings of an animal in their garage freezer.
It's never a dad. It's an uncle who didn't marry or have. It's a divorced uncle who didn't have kids.
It's your friend's dad's brother.
Yeah, there we go.
It's not a first generation, like an immediate family situation. What's fucked up about this, growing up where I did, where, as Matt said, we both grew up in similar places of the type of country where people are, or whatever weird words you put in order to describe
You both
where
grew
we're
up
from.
in a place. That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yep.
I definitely at some point in time had a friend's dad just give me sack of meat sticks.
Yeah.
So like this is on par.
Same.
So that's like the difference between where y'all grew up and where I grew up. Is this is just everybody? Like everybody was just doing this.
Yeah.
Your common greeting is exchanging meat sticks like pogs.
Yeah, we. They're hogs. You're exchanging hogs. Yeah, we used to go to volunteer sausage nights at my church where everybody would bring in
That fucks.
their pigs,
What a sentence.
and we would just like churn sausage cranks. Yeah, it was a whole thing. Anyway, we brought meat. We've got so much. And here's the thing, there's still a half a deer in the deep freeze. So don't worry, you take as much as you want. Craven's excited to give it to you. He's got new seasonings this year. Let us know what you think. And when we turn out another batch for the winter, we'll bring you over your favorites.
The catch is you have to listen to him talk for half an hour about how he tracked down and killed that deer.
And he's going to show you the picture. He's going to show you each and every... Have you ever seen half a deer? Half a deer with just the head?
If I have to hear one more story about your experience at Rural King, I'm going to lose my fucking mind, Craven.
Well, they've got chicks for 3 for $5 right now.
you can buy those through the mail.
Oh
We've
my
been through
God,
that.
I know. Something,
If I want
the
chicks-
black chicken. I get it.
If I want chicks, I'm not going to Rural King. I'm getting them off Amazon. All right. So we've got quite the collection of food offerings here, and I love that. Now, if you remember, last time we barbecued together as a proper family, we talked a bit about how each one of our guests would win in just like an all-out fight. Now, I don't foresee any backyard brawls popping off this year, but we are just certain to have lots and lots of backyard games. We have all of them, actually. In fact, the washers are ready to be tossed, the corns are ready to be holed, the tethers are ready to be balled, the cans are ready to be jammed.
This is getting filthier and
lawns
filthier.
are ready to be
The
darted.
holes are about to be good
Yeah.
I already said that
That's
one.
a
That
good
was-
one.
I wasn't listening.
I've jammed a can
I don't
or two
blame
in
you.
my day.
Etc. You get it. Tell me which of you will just find the most success in the miscellaneous backyard games portion of the day with your guest as you pair up.
So the whole thing about Sandman is his entire bit is he reshapes his sand form to literally any shape. Now, people who have never seen Sandman in Marvel media might just assume that it's limited to the volume of his human form. That is very much not the case. There have been multiple times where Sandman just takes up the space of an entire city block or a high rise, like a 20-story high rise, or he can fit inside a vacuum cleaner, which is also something that is canon. The first outing that Spider-Man faced Sandman, he vacuumed him up.
I was gonna say he was defeated by a vacuum cleaner at least once.
Yep.
Is Sandman a cat? Like Sandman has the properties of a cat.
In that he is liquid.
So Sandman is not a cat. Sandman
not
is
liquid, he's
Theseus'
sand.
ship.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Sandman is Theseus' ship, right? And this is where you remember I started this whole bit trying to get you into beach vibes, right? Because with Sandman at your barbecue, you aren't limited to boring, average backyard sports. With Sandman, you have a portable beach volleyball court right at your fingertips. All it takes is for Sandman to just kind of... and you've got a sand volleyball court.
And that's what Todd's cousin? What
Yeah.
is that? The family member's house we're at?
It's
That's what they want.
It's my house.
Oh, it's Todd's house.
I'm
It's
hosting
your house.
this. 2024, this biennial was my turn to host.
But when Todd's cousin Rod comes over and is like,
when Rod comes with his cannon.
That's what Todd wants in his backyard. A whole bunch of dirt just dropped there.
well, hold on.
'Cause
So that
sand
okay,
is
I knew
just
that.
dirt.
No. I know. I knew this was going to come up, and I was prepared for this because this is why Sandman is better than the most private white sand beach. Because at the end of the day, Kyle, you're not going to be cleaning tiny grains of sand out of your car and out of your shoes and out of your kitchen floor. Because remember, this is not like Sandman just like materializes sand. Sandman, much like Theseus' ship, is the sum of his parts. I.e., Sandman consists of every single grain that makes up Sandman. So at the end of the day, when Sandman's like, cool, I gotta go take my daughter back to Kathy's, all of his grains come with him. He just reforms. So you're sand free like since 93, baby.
How much, what percentage of Sandman
100%.
has been in someone's ass crack?
100%, probably.
Most if not
Well, the
all.
world's not making more sand.
Much like Theseus' ship, more of it is how much
More
of
of
it
it is in your
needs
ass
to be
than-
in an asshole to
Yeah.
still be considered a man. That's my answer. As Sandman.
I'm just kind of sitting with what Kyle has thrown at us, thinking about
Yeah.
this funnel of sand just going through someone's ass.
I want to sit on this. This has nothing to do with anything else, but I thought this was really cool. There's a really fun team up moment where in one of the many Sinister Six, where Sandman appears, he does a situation where like Doc Ock kind of like tricks him into being part of the Sinister Six. This was post daughter storyline, right? And there's like Doc Ock is like, oh yeah, like we'll get you with your daughter, yada yada. And Sandman's like, okay, begrudgingly. And then he doesn't do that because it's Dr. Octopus, and instead has Electro zap him and turns him into like Fulgurite, like you know how like when lightning hits sand, and it
Yeah, like
becomes,
Glass Man.
yeah. So he became like Fulgur Sandman. I think that's really fun and cool. That's it.
I'm stuck with two thoughts here. Sandman kind of feels like Rhino in the sense that every time he's part of the Sinister Six, it wasn't his idea.
100%. Yeah. He is perennially duped into doing
Duped
whatever
or
he does
coerced,
because
yeah.
he's not
Yeah.
a bad guy. He's just kind of a dumb guy.
Because it's like Doc Ock, got it. Green Goblin, got it. You know, think like Electro or Shocker, like sure. Vulture, got it. And it's like, and then we have Rhino or Sandman,
Yeah.
the sixth one.
Which like much like Hydro Man, like they're just kind of one note. Like they only have one thing. There's just not a lot to say about
It's
them.
when they're making the plan. It's they're looking at that fifth slot. It's like, all right, do we need a sandy guy? Do we need a wet guy?
They're putting together a Pokemon team and trying to think about type advantage.
And Sandman is the HM slave. Like that's the one that you give Fly and Surf and Flash to.
Well, not Surf.
You can't give Surf to Sandman.
That's true.
Sorry, here's my other point about this.
Yeah.
Sandman kind of strikes me as an Omega level mutant in
A
that
little bit,
like,
yeah.
there
Yeah.
may not be a cap to his power.
There specifically is not a cap to his power. That's what's wild about it. Like matter doesn't apply to Sandman.
He was the Sahara Desert at one point. Like
Right.
Yeah.
that's
Like he
stupid.
could
It's
theoretically
very stupid, Kyle.
You look at Doc Ock fights Spider-Man and Spider-Man's going to beat him.
Yeah.
Sandman fights Spider-Man and just dumps tons and tons and tons and tons of sand on him and kills him instantly and leaves. Like
Right, because Sandman's kind of, and I mean, he in a similar, like he's kind of like a Dr. Manhattan. Like he can't die. Like the only thing that you can do to Sandman is route him. Like you can just trap him in something. Like there's not like from Spider-Man, you can't like kill him or trap it. Like you can't take him prisoner.
You gotta
Like,
you gotta
just
make him
turn him around.
He gives up whenever
Yeah,
he
you
loses.
tire
It's
him out.
because he's just like, eh.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys ever hear that like that meme song like Mr. Sandman?
Yeah.
Sand be a man. Make him so sandy. The sandiest man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Flint Marka.
Yeah.
I think you mean William
Baker.
Baker.
Doesn't matter what you call him,
Anyway.
he's the sandiest man.
He is the sandiest man.
So okay, so we can play backyard sand volleyball on a man made of sand.
Man volleyball.
All right, Kyle, it's your turn.
Yeah, Todd. So Lex is always down for some good friendly competition. He loves a good game of backyard football. He hasn't really ever played cornhole or what's the one where you throw golf balls at the ladder?
Ladder ball.
Yeah, hillbilly horseshoes.
Those are a little lowbrow for him and his upbringing, but
And his chill, cool vibes.
But he is a pretty good toss, pretty athletic. I will warn you though, Todd, he is a pretty sore loser. He really isn't used to coming in second a whole lot. In fact, I think the last guy who beat him at something like this was this dumpy journalist in Metropolis, and Lex just has been obsessed with him since then. Just can't stop talking about how he can't believe he lost to this guy. It's a little weird, actually. So maybe let him win. Just don't go too hard against him. That will ruin the vibe. That'll kill the chill rich guy vibe that he was bringing to the party earlier.
I feel like no one's going to beat him with those quads that he hauled 40 cakes in on.
You might not have to throw any matches to him, actually. He is, like I said, pretty yoked. So he'll do fine on his own, but,
I really hate that there's going to be somebody at this barbecue who's one of those just like naturally athletic, good at every sort of thing kind of person who also is soft enough that we have to throw games to them because their feelings will be hurt if we win. I really hate that. Mm-hmm. That sucks. That makes it a 4th of July barbecue, and I'm not going to argue with that, but it sucks.
It's very chill and cool.
It's very chill and cool.
And it would be very obvious as well.
Yeah.
Like it would be, you didn't even have to tell us this. It would come to the surface pretty quickly.
Yeah. After the first touchdown, you'd have the idea. Yeah.
That's like when you laugh at your boss's jokes in public.
Yeah. He's like the one, my cousin scores a touchdown and Lex gives him a late hit, a very intentional NFL blitz style late hit.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I didn't hear the whistle."
Yeah.
And we're like, "Dude, there's no whistle."
Yeah. But when you do it back to him in the next play, he threatens to take the check that he gave to you to fix your roof back because now it's suddenly not as chill or cool anymore.
Okay, so we're playing man ball and we're playing be cool to Lex ball.
Yep.
Matt, what's Craven into? What's Craven's whole thing?
So here's the thing, Craven.
I have an idea what he's into.
Craven does need to kind of keep up his reputation, and he likes to make sure everybody knows how hardcore he is. That's why he wears his steel toe boots everywhere he goes. It's just so people know that he works hard. And the thing about Craven is that he only participates in the most dangerous game. And that's why he brings his own set of 1987 lawn darts to every barbecue that he goes to.
The most dangerous game.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good.
Matt, do you have statistics?
I don't have statistics, but I do have the article in which the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission banned the lawn darts in December 19th of 1988.
I'm going to go with Matt on this one because, what's more famously banned than lawn darts?
Yeah.
I feel, okay, this is a shared experience. Maybe it's just me. Growing up, lawn darts were the things you heard about, but you never saw.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was shown the lawn darts that are in my family, I was being shown a rare gun. I will inherit these lawn darts like a family heirloom someday.
Yep.
You had to get the cashier
cabinet
at the CVS to unlock the case to touch them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Craven, big lawn darts guy. He does prefer to play traditional rules like cornhole, so you will be setting that target down between the feet of you and your partner. Be sure there are no 7-year-olds around. Their skulls are particularly pierceable to lawn darts. The only other game that Craven's really into is if there's a big enough cookout where they've got one of those booths where there's a bunch of knives stabbed in a board and you can throw a ring and win the knife if you land the ring on the knife. But that doesn't seem like this kind of party, so we're doing lawn darts.
Joke's on you, it could be that kind of party, actually.
I'm really glad Craven's good at reading the room.
The real reason they banned lawn darts and they didn't put this part out is that it's actually that a 7-year-old skull attracts lawn darts to it. and you just can't be throwing those around a party. They're just,
The magnetic radius you develop exclusively at 7.
There's definitely a whitest kid you know
for
YouTube video about
365
this.
days. Your head just draws lawn darts to it, so that
It's
we
all
had to
that
take them
lead
off the
paint
market.
swirling around developing brains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lawn dart story real quick, tight 2. Went to a bachelor party 3 or so years ago, and I was one of the first people to get to this like really, really nice house, and we saw their shelf of games, and there's gonna be about 16 of us at this bachelor party, and there we saw the box labeled lawn darts, and me and the other guy that got there first, we immediately said absolutely not, and we went and like took it and put it in the closet for the whole weekend and brought it back out when we left.
That was smart.
I would rather someone show up to a bachelor party with a live taser than with a box of lawn darts.
Yeah, it was just we knew no good would come from that, and we're like absolutely not.
No.
Well, this is great. I think this has probably been just like the best barbecue. And I'm going to have to pick who brought the best person to the barbecue today. Sorry, I didn't tell you it's a competition.
Todd, we've all been to barbecues. We know you hit that point in the night, you judge everybody's +1 to the barbecue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and before I kind of give you an option to give like one final pitch, we're going to take a brief intermission. But, oh God. Oh, wouldn't you know it? A fight. I said one wouldn't happen this year. This is why we take every year off or every other year off. But a fight has in fact broken out. But it's not between your guests. It's between my family. I mean, you guys know how they get. So real quick, how do you think your guest will help de-escalate the conflict to ensure that we can just all get back to the normal traditional Midwest niceties and the standard levels of passive aggression that we have here? And if you want to take a second to think about that, I will get your answers right after this break.
If you want to have your own hot girl of the 21st century summer, please go over to patreon.com/debatethis
Cast.
and subscribe.
/debate this cast.
/debatethiscast and subscribe to join us on Deconstructed, where we will be watching all 3 Xenon Girl of the 21st Century movies this summer and talking about them.
See this Lapidus.
It's the Zillogy.
That's the thing from the show, Todd. It is the Zillogy.
Zillogy is what I'd scroll at night when I was longing for what houses I couldn't afford.
No, that's actually the religion that belongs to the website that you would scroll for houses that you can't afford.
Yeah.
You gotta have the right Zayton count.
Todd is a practicing Zillogist.
Yeah, what are your Zidichlorians like?
The stupidest fucking thing we're doing.
So good.
All right, and we're back. Oh, this fight is happening. That my uncles are pushing each other, and there's so many. There's so many, and all of them are pushing
so
each
many
other.
uncles.
So many uncles. They're all pushing each other. The pies are everywhere.
Todd, what is at the root of this fight? What caused the fight to break out?
Listen,
Just beer and
Outside
high
of the bit.
temperature.
outside of the bit, you and all of our listeners get a pretty good vibe of what my family is and isn't. Pick one. I'm gonna guess someone let a repressed old memory out. Just one too many crispy boys and frosty tall ones. Just someone said, "Hey, remember the last biennial barbecue?" And someone said, "You son of a bitch, we don't talk about 2022." And then
Too many people had too many beers and not enough water, and
Yeah.
you know what happens in July from there. Yeah.
So just real quick, I mean, how are your guests gonna de-escalate this conflict? We'll start with Andrew.
Yeah, so Flint Marco has been around the block, right? He has shared physical space with a ton of seedy characters. He has bartended and bounced his, dozens and dozens of crappy dive bars, right? So drunk middle-aged dudes, not a problem. He can handle them in spades. He's also a dad, right? I've noted before. He's great with kids. Kids love him. One thing Flint Marco famously not good with is women his age. Specifically, mothers his age. Because Flint Marco, kind of a nice guy, real screw up, right? So, I think he's got his levels. He's got his strengths and his weaknesses. Worst case scenario, though, much like Optimus Prime, activate beach mode. Burp, burp, burp. And he just kind of plops down, and if you like pina coladas. See, it's so easy. It's so easy, guys.
Wait, does the music come with Flint Marco?
It can.
Can it?
I like to think it's, if in this situation I'm bringing Sandman, it's me with a Bose Bluetooth, and I'm just like constantly like hiding it in the back, and I'm just like constantly queuing up the Pina Colada song. So yeah,
All right.
You created a Spotify playlist that's just that.
just that
on
song.
repeat.
Yeah. It's a bit that we do.
Imagine a superhero or villain that one of their powers is they bring like non-diegetic music with them whenever they like
licensed music follows them everywhere that they go.
Yeah, and then imagine that licensed music is specifically the Pina Colada song by Rupert Holmes. Like, what's happening?
Hey, okay, I get it. I understand. I think I see the strategy. Placate the uncles.
Placate the uncles.
It's direct. Kyle, what about Lex?
Yeah, Todd.
And his oh so many pies.
They're cakes.
Cakes. Sorry,
There's a difference.
that's on me. Yeah, it's on me.
Lex could come at this from a few different angles. So the first is he is the CEO of a large international conglomerate. He's got a bit of experience in leadership and therefore in de-escalation tactics. He has had to break up more than one, employee fight or something in the boardroom like that. The second here, he's a former president. He's got some authority to throw around, and we've established already your family loves this former president, and they're gonna listen to him. He's just got to step forward, throw a knock it off with a commanding voice, and this fight's gonna die down real quick. Last case scenario, if push does come to literal shove here, Todd, Lex Luthor is trained in a few different styles of martial arts. He can step in, de-escalate the situation physically, but without hurting anyone, and send everyone to opposite ends of your sun-bleached backyard to cool off and break the fight up that way. So we've got a few options here.
Listen, if there's one thing that drunk uncles respect, it's authority.
Yeah.
So I get it. So far, we've had empathy, we've had authority. I'm curious to see what energy Craven's bringing.
Yeah, Craven's conflict management is sort of a fight fire with fire technique where that fire is bad vibes. See, you can start an argument, but if Craven's in the room, he always wants to be the loudest, and he's never going to hesitate to tell you the most uncomfortable hunting story you've ever heard. So maybe your uncles are arguing in the corner, but when Craven sits down and says, "Did I ever tell story of how I killed last white elephant in Africa barehanded with knife?" Because that's kind of how Craven sounds.
That's super how Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to sound in this shitty movie coming out, dude.
I'm telling you, man, I watched the trailer. So he'll do one of those, or maybe he'll tell you about his last hunt, the storyline where he kidnapped Spider-Man, Peter Parker, who is like a 17-year-old boy, and then buried him alive for 2 weeks, and then assumed his identity and captured Spider-Man's own villain. And then when Spider-Man finally crawled out of his dirt grave, he released that villain again and said, "See, I'm a better Spider-Man than you." And then he pieced out. That's Craven energy. So if your uncles are arguing and a guy talks even louder about how he buried a 16-year-old boy alive, I'm sure that your uncles will hate somebody else more than each other.
Yikes.
I want Todd to imagine how his whole family would react if his friend's friend told a story in a thick Russian accent about how he buried a boy alive.
and then he kind of shrugs and says, that's so Craven, is what he would say at the end of that.
To Matt's defense, though, it would de-escalate this particular conflict, yes.
It might start a new one.
This conflict reminds me of time I buried child.
Yeah.
He learns no lesson.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, unfortunately. So we've got a level of empathy and vibe chilling. We've got authority and vibe settling. And then we've got an escalation of sorts.
Vibe killing.
So Vibe killing. Yes. This has given me a lot to think about. I don't know. Watching these three things play out is really kind of painting a pretty vivid image of who wins the barbecue today. But before I make my decision, I would really like to pull each one of you aside while they're kind of de-escalating and just kind of get a real one or two quick lines. Like, why do you think they're the best guest? Why do you think you won the barbecue today?
Yeah, it's all it's easy. Sandman brings with him all of the best points of a beach. Sand,
Debatable.
and none of the bad things. Which
Sand
is
and also man.
Yeah, and sand and man, and removes all of the bad things from going to the beach, being under direct sunlight, probably getting wet, other animals that are there that are kind of icky, having to clean sand out of your car, and having to carry around a chair everywhere. Having Sandman there is on-demand beach whenever you want it, with none of the cons, with none of the bad. Well, except for the convict who's with you, but that's fine.
Different con.
That's a different con.
Different con.
Need a beach? Then he's on demand, man.
He's the man. Are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good. I just wanted to leave your he's the man.
Leaving a lot of pregnant pauses in this episode.
On purpose. Kyle, what about you?
Yeah, Todd. Everyone brought a great, interesting, engaging guests to your barbecue this weekend, but only one of them handed you a check to fix your roof. And that's who I think should be the best guest at your barbecue.
All right, Matt.
Look, Todd, you don't have to particularly like Craven the Hunter, but at the end of the day, you know he does have the best hot sticks on the block. And you know what? It's hard to get through the fall without a gallon baggie of hot sticks made in the garage of a man you meet twice a year. So invite him to the barbecue. He'll bring you whatever meat you want.
May sound disingenuous. You've actually given me a hard decision to make here. And I need to think about it for a minute. So while I decide who wins the barbecue today, and whose guest gets invited back to the 2026 biennial barbecue, go ahead and give each other some good vibes.
Kyle, coming in here and painting Lex Luthor as the insufferable friend you keep around because he picks up the bar tab and sometimes pays for movers is so good. It's so good, and it's such a fun way to look at Lex Luthor, who is like, we don't talk about very often. We don't talk about Superman people very often, but I feel like Lex Luthor is either like multi-dimensional or completely just like one single issue voter, depending
it's
on
one or the other, depending on the story being told, for sure.
Really, really, really good stuff. Matt, Craven as everybody's friend's uncle is also really good, really relatable. I know this guy viscerally.
I know four of this guy.
I know four of this guy. When I go home to visit my parents, I'm going to run into three more of this guy, probably at the bar and or Sheets on the way home, right? and it's such a good representation of the person that has made hunting their entire personality, right? Because it's like, it's not a bad guy. Like, I don't ever consider like, where was Craven on January 6th, right? Like, because he doesn't care. He only cares about hunting. Like, that's it. He probably doesn't vote, for what it's worth. Like, he just cares about hunting. Unless there's hunting on the ballot, then he'll vote, right? So yeah, it's very good. These were very good answers. Well done.
Yeah, Andrew. The guy that can bring a beach with him to the party is an excellent get for
like a divorced Slurms McKenzie.
Just a great like connecting the dots of what super powered person am I bringing to this barbecue. Very good. And we all know Flint Marco. Maybe not William Baker, but Flint Marco. So good pull there. And then Matt, echoing what Andrew said, like re-imaging Craven as the guy who shows up in a F-350 with two pairs of Oakleys on is just great. And again, we will all run into 3 of this guy at whatever 4th of July event we end up at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew, I really love Sandman as, hey, this guy brought beach volleyball. Like, not just a net, but the whole beach for the volleyball. I think that's a lot of fun. And I also liked legitimately learning a little bit more about Sandman and his arc through Marvel pop culture, because I literally only know him as Thomas Hayden Church, and I think that's fun.
Yeah, same.
Also, yeah, Kyle, Lex Luthor, way to paint the image of my least favorite person at the barbecue, but also somebody who is at every barbecue, and I love that. Like, there's always that one person who looks at a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce and is like, oh, I've never seen this before. What do you mean you've never seen Sweet Baby Ray's? Get out of here. So I like that a lot. I love the 40 cakes bit. Man, 40 cakes. You know, it's as many as 4 tens. So
It's as many as 4 tens.
I have to make a choice.
You have to make a choice.
And like,
You were supposed to be doing that while we were doing Good Vibes,
I
Tom.
know. Well, all I could think in my head is like, it's 40 cakes is 4 tens. This is a tough choice, and so I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off, and I'll try and unpack it after I do that. Lex Luthor's invited back in 2026, and I'm going to tell you why. Because all of us have an insufferable friend who, like, foots the bill. Like, or we know an insufferable friend who, like, you don't see him a lot, but when you see him, you're like, okay, I'll tolerate him. And listen, if Lex Luthor's going to put new siding on my shed, then I'm gonna let him shove my cousin to the ground.
Yeah,
like
yeah, you are.
There is no amount of cousin injuries that I will not tolerate. To one, have 40 pies,
Cakes.
and 2,
cakes.
have 40 cakes. Well, maybe it's pies in 2026. Who's to say? To have him bring 40 cakes, and also like reseal my driveway because those cracks are getting kind of bad. So Lex Luthor is invited back for the next one. Holy shit, honorable mention to playing a volleyball game in a man's whole body, which is his own thing. And man's whole, period, end of sentence. And the dude who brings meat in sacks. I want to make it clear, all 3 would be invited to my family's barbecue, unironically.
They're already going.
Yeah.
They're already going. And so that's going to end it for today. Thanks for listening in to Debate This. You can follow along with arguments on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. Have you ever come to the end of an episode, much like we are, and found yourself wondering, man, I really like listening to Debate This 3 out of every 4 Tuesdays of each month. And I just wish I could somehow turn that 3 into a 4, or in July, a 4 into a 5, because I think we have 5 Tuesdays this month. Well, I have great news for you. It's called the Debate This Premium Feed, and it's available right now at our Patreon, patreon.com/debatethiscast. Subscribing at the low price of $5 a month will get you all current and past episodes of our exclusive Patreon show, Deconstructed. It's a Disney Channel original movie watch-along podcast. That is right. For the price of a foot-long cold-cut trio from Subway in 2011, you can join. You can join in on Hot Girl of the 21st Century Summer and rewatch the Xenon Zillogy with us this summer. We've already got the first one done and out. That movie aged differently, and we're excited to talk about the next 2.
It's cute.
Yeah, wasn't bad. Some plot holes that we had some thoughts on, but you know, all in all, pretty good.
Yeah.
Until next time, I'm Todd Thomas.
I'm Andrew, looking for a man in finance. Rich guy, chill vibes. Henderson.
I'm Kyle, lost like sand in a Flint Marco Harper.
I'm Matt. Assemble your friends for a White Castle case race. Call that a Cravenoff. Cole.
Good.
We're saying thanks for debating with us, and if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.